Ready Check Radio. What's up, Internet? It's Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern. That means here on Ready Check Radio, it's time for the Relic Grind, our Final Fantasy XIV Square Enix podcast. Today, we're going to be taking a look at 7.2. Yeah, there might be spoilers. You had more than frickin' enough time. Trust me. If you've played it, you know you had way more than enough time to get in these. You know. Yeah, if you know, you know. And honestly, yeah, I mean, we'll get to it. We'll get to it. I'm your host, Mike Byrne, as always, a.k.a. Magic Man. This is episode 147. If you're joining us live, twitch.tv, thank you so much. Chime in with your opinions as we go. If you're watching on readycheckradio.com, YouTube, listening on Audible or Spotify, thank you so much. We appreciate it. While you're there, give it a like, a subscribe, thumbs up, turn on the notifications, all that good, fun stuff to feed the algorithms. Sorry about the late cancellation last week. We ran into tech issues trying to go live. Clearly, that has been resolved. And just a programming note, it's not going to impact the Relic Grind all that much until the show goes up the first 2 weeks of June. I'm in a new theater show, but I don't have rehearsals Thursdays, Fridays, or Saturdays, so this show should be fine, with the exception of Tech Week and the one Thursday of the run that I do have a show. We'll keep you posted. That'll be like the first 2 weeks of June, somewhere in there. Gaming Gumbo, however, is basically hosed for the next month.
Oh, so sad.
That show's on Saturdays. It's our local or our weekly gaming wrap-up show. This weekend, we already knew there was going to be no show this weekend. It's my daughter's birthday, so that's fine. But then looking forward at the calendar, the following weekend, I have to move my oldest son as he graduated from the FAA and is going to his new career. The weekend after that, I'll be TOing a Final Fantasy trading card game local qualifier here in Pittsburgh. We will be live, though. I will be streaming that event on Saturday here on this channel. So we will have something going live, but we won't have Gaming Gumbo. And then the week after that, May 3rd, 4th, I will be commentating the Final Fantasy trading card game Materia Cup live from Collector's Cache in Kansas. So we're going to try and do like a Friday or a Sunday show here or there for Gaming Gumbo so that it's not just gone for an entire month. But you'll need to be following us on the socials and stuff so that you know when that's at, or turn those notifications on YouTube. Joining me to go over all the fun Final Fantasy stuff today, Mr. Chris Montoya, a.k.a. Tarkoth. What's up, sir?
Greetings, programs. I don't know about you two gentlemen, but I am excited to replay Final Fantasy VII Remake on arguably going to be the best system ever, okay? I'm ready. You guys ready?
Yeah.
You hyped?
Yeah, I mean, well, we spent quite a bit of time talking about the Switch too, and I got concerns. Yeah, I mean, if you didn't watch last weekend's Gaming Gumbo, you don't have one to watch this week live. So go watch last week's and see our thoughts on the Switch too. Yeah, I mean, it's exciting that stuff's going to be there, but I'm going to say a little less than thrilled with the Switch 2 announcements. Also on the line, Mr. Paul Berlin, a.k.a. Flynn. What's up, boss?
Yo, I am starting to properly understand the FFTCG.
Yeah, you definitely are. I mean, you got a great.
Actually help new players out now.
Yeah, I mean, you have a really good community around you. A lot of those folks at let me see if I get this right, by the way. I always do this. It's the Cymru Cactuars, right?
That's the one.
Okay. Now can you explain to me, because I always get this wrong, and they are fantastic FFTCG creators, the Cymru Cactuars. I've watched a ton of their stuff. They're putting up their locals and stuff like that all the time. They don't really, I don't think they do them live, do they?
Yeah, they do.
Do they? It's just over on Next Dimension now, right?
Yeah.
On the YouTube channel. They've kind of ditched Twitch. So, but if you miss them live, great videos, nice quality. You know, I'm really big on like the audio video quality of watching card games, and
like
they do a really nice job.
Sorry.
No, go for it. Go ahead.
Yeah, the biggest thing they're doing right now is two of the main boys down there. They're doing live commentary for like the top table stuff, so you get a lot more thought processes behind certain cards and a quick interview with each winner as the evening goes on.
So
it's a really good production down there.
Yeah, and what you guys are swapped? Why? Why are you swapped?
Who knows?
Happening? Hashtag professionalism.
Let me just.
Probably from when we had B on
There we
the
go.
other week.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I would have fixed them for last week when we screwed up the show.
Well, you were having issues.
Yeah,
You were really-
You were just trying to get live
you're-
last week. To be
You're
fair.
switched. You're switched on this frame too. So okay, so here, let's do this. Tark, since I know the answer to this, I'll give it to you as like a trivia question.
Sure.
You heard me say that the name of the group is the Cymru Cactuars. And I know you know how to spell cactuars, so we'll skip that one. But just based on how I pronounced the name of this wonderful group of Final Fantasy TCG content creators, go check out their stuff. They have a number of them have politely offered to sit in on Legend reviews when we do those, so I will definitely be taking them up on that. We've had Steve D, we've had B. I don't care where you're at. I've had people in Australia on the show. Doesn't matter. What's up, newest girl? It has been a while. I shouldn't really shout out to chat like that live during the show. Anyway,
short show.
It is newest girl though. I haven't seen newest girl in a while.
Do whatever the hell you want.
It is right.
Hi, newest
so,
girl.
Cymru Cactuars, Tark, spell Cymru.
CUUMREE.
CUMREE.
CUU.
I mean, I'm sorry?
CUUMREE.
Oh, you're doubling the U because it's
Yeah, I am.
overseas and you think they're being silly.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, yeah, sure.
Welsh
I have
alphabet is silly.
Yeah, so I have often mispronounced this, and when Flynn was like, hey, the boys in the Cactuars, they said if you ever want somebody for the show, and it's like, I'd love to have them. I'm a big fan of all their stuff, no problem. And I was like totally candid with Flynn. I was like, look, if we ever do have them on, though, I am going to need you to talk me through the pronunciation of this word because I've butchered it left and right. And so he phonetically spelled it for me, and it was Cumree, Cymru. Okay. Here's how it's actually spelled if you look it up on a map. CYMRU. You tell me how the fuck that's Cymru, please? Come on.
Gotta love the Welsh.
CYMRU. How does a word end in RU sound like REE when you say it?
Oh, it gets crazy with Welsh because we have a few letters that are double letters. Like we have a double L, a TH, a double D, and like the TH is more of an F. The double D is also like an F. But just for
I'm familiar with like I'm familiar with like the TH as an F sound because like you do hear. You do hear like a lot of Welsh speakers instead of saying thing, and you do it, Flynn. When instead of saying third, you say third. You know, it's just a very sound instead of sound. So yeah, exactly. Yeah, like that's the. But yeah, the name of anyway, there you go.
Yeah, purely done for the tourist trade.
Yeah, I mean, and
adding more and more on for that one.
Over there, you guys have the double Ds. We're a fan of those too, so that's fine as well. That's fine.
But yeah, it gets silly. Like just for the word Cymru, just to see CYM. If you
that part I almost get.
Any town or village that is a valley, it's CWM for come instead. So it just gets back.
The CYM part, I'm like, oh, okay, we're just gonna make a soft sound. Okay, that one I get it. It was the RU at the end that I'm like, how is that RE?
Probably from Cymru, the word can refer to the country or the people. The way it is spelled to refer to the people is with a Y on the end. So I'm assuming it's like, right, Cymru the people, then we'll change one letter and make it the country.
There you are, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Relic Grind, where we teach you the Welsh phonetic alphabet. And
this is how you start to understand how to pronounce Rhongomient.
Yeah.
Anyway, one of King Arthur's spears.
If you're looking for more Final Fantasy trading card game content, go search them out. Great people. Next Dimension on YouTube. They kind of ditched Twitch and went over there. So check on that one. Anyway, Final Fantasy XIV. Let's start there. 7.2. It's been out for a couple of weeks. Normally we have like a spoiler-free kind of initial review. Since the show typically falls about 48 hours after any given patch drops, it's kind of initial thoughts. The following week, we normally like say, okay, now everybody's probably finished everything in our hosts here, because real life happens. I don't expect all three of us to finish everything in 48 hours. So let's talk more in depth, but we're still going to avoid spoilers. And then on week 3, we might hit it one more time if there were some spoiler stuff that we wanted to talk about. Since we had some tech snafus last week and everything, we're going to talk spoilers. So not like there's really much to talk. Like you knew, you knew Sphene was back in some form, right? We just weren't quite sure if there was, just somebody posing as Sphene, if this was another version of Sphene. Turns out there was 2 of them.
Yeah.
So, I guess we didn't see that coming, right? We are now actually working with the real Sphene, who has been asleep for a very, very long time, while the Queen was modeled after that Sphene. And yes, that Sphene we saw during the end of the funeral ceremony patch of 7.1, that was working for somebody else. Yeah, you didn't Sphene that coming. Oh yeah, yeah, chat. Really, I think that was really like the only spoilery thing in the MSQ. Everything else just kind of progressed the story. Tark, what'd you think? Let's start with MSQ. Tark, what'd you think? 7.2.
It was okay. I feel like the meat of everything is going to be 7.3. We kind of expect that with the patch cycle. Like you get a big chunk of meaty lore stuff. It was okay as a whole. Like it wasn't great. It wasn't bad. I mean, we knew we had something come out of Living Memory last patch, so we just needed to see what it was, and it was Sphene, which is cool. Saying that Wooklamot and her naivete was like kind of endearing. I think this is a better way to do naivete. Like you're not understanding, but she still has a grounded sense of being a person, where Wooklamot was just like naive to the nth degree. So I'm liking this new version of Sphene so far. I can't wait for her to be in Trust next patch. I'd love to play with her. Don't take that the wrong way. But yeah, overall, MSQ was okay.
Flynn, what
minus?
What about you, MSQ?
It's nice to have an MSQ patch where there wasn't room for side stories. This was beat after beat after beat, just story progression, context, and setting things up. I think they missed the mark to have real Sphene change her name. Just like, hey, what's your weapon? Just a silly FF9 reference.
Make her dagger. Yeah.
Or call it Garnet,
I think
got away with that, but
I think Square Enix has had enough of that.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like fake Sphene. It's like, yeah, we're getting rid of it. No point. This will be the one true Sphene straight away. Cool. If you remember, one of my early gripes with dawntrail was going to Solution 9, and there was a kid with lightning sickness. Like, we know how to deal with this.
Yeah.
We've cured this. It's nice that they come back to that. It was a lot of closing up some loose threads. It's been my most enjoyable bit of story this expansion.
Really? Wow. So, god damn it.
And then all of a sudden, it's like that Kuja Garland sort of deal happening now.
Yeah. Newest girl in chat saying it's the most I've enjoyed a patch, an MSQ patch since 5.5, I think. It's funny looking at online thoughts about it, because there's all three of us are literally falling in the 3 buckets. Flynn is very happy with it. Tark is just, okay,
Mid.
Yeah.
Mid.
Okay. I hated it. Like,
Oh.
I hate it. And I'll tell you why. The MSQ itself in 7.2 doesn't do anything wrong. It's not like egregiously bad storytelling or anything like that. I'm not implying that at all. In fact, it's fine. Like the new Sphene, seeing, oh, okay, that makes a little sense. Okay, all right, we got the original Sphene with us. She's kind of unaware of a lot of this stuff. Somebody else is working with this, other version of the queen, and yeah, okay, great, yeah. Oh, and now the whole, pieces and souls is kind of back into play, but there's a little bit of we're causing a false flag operation to get our citizens mad, and okay, this is kind of neat where it's going, but it's 7.2. Fuck. Like 7.0 was to set up a new story. Okay. And then 7.1 and 7.2, let's get this ball rolling, right? Let's get into. And now I just find myself that I'm like, and you said it, Tark, you were like, well, 7.3 is where the meat and stuff is going to drop. Really? I've had to go through 7.0, 7.1, and 7.2 that were all mediocre at best. There's some characters in there that I don't care about. I don't hate any of them, but like I don't care about Wook Lamont. Every time I see her on screen, I'm like, ugh, I just don't care what you have to say. Like, it doesn't matter. I was really unhappy with 7.2 as a whole, and we'll get to that in a second. The MSQ, it doesn't do anything egregiously bad. I just feel like we still haven't really gotten started doing anything yet.
If you would ask me about the story the week of patch, I would have been saying very different things. I've had to sit on the story for me to come around on it.
I do appreciate
it felt
what
very Dawntrail 2 instantly.
Yeah.
It feels like we're repeating the second story arc of Dawntrail.
I do appreciate that narratively from 7.0 through 7.2, there is that kind of undercurrent of an allegory for life and death and how people react to life and death. Like, I can absolutely appreciate the nuance of a story like that. But this is also, if I was reading this in a book, fine. This is an MMO that you want me to engage in more often than I don't engage into it, right? And I will say that for most people, I think, thank God, 7.21 and 7.25 are adding what they are adding. Because could you imagine if they weren't? The wait between this patch and 7.3? The Wook Lamont slander angers you. It's not slander. I'm indifferent. I'm ambivalent to her. Like, it's just not a compelling character. The way it's written. It's good in a vacuum, I think, but it's done a disservice by 7.1 being a total nothing burger. You may be right, but I don't think 7.2 was all that meteor to keep the burger theme going is the problem. And let's extrapolate that. Let's expand that to other things here. What'd you think of the dungeon, Tark?
Oh my God. I have strong feelings about the dungeon. It was probably the most boring dungeon that I've done.
Oh, thank God.
In a long time.
I thought when you said, oh, I have thoughts about the dungeon, that you were about to gush over it. Thank God. Oh,
I am
God.
so annoyed by this dungeon. Like, I hate getting in an expert. It is so boring. The first trash is just freaking trash. Okay. So there's nothing special about the first round of trash. The first boss, okay. The running around on the outside is
the sand thing was kind of neat. Yeah, all right.
Yeah. So that was okay. Second round of trash, again, just trash. It's just so boring. The most exciting part about that was the slide down, like, for crying out loud. The second boss, oh my Lord. And you know what? My boy Piers maybe nailed it. Is maybe the issue with those first two bosses is like their HP pools are just so low that we kill them so fast that they can't really get into the meat of their mechanics. Maybe. But I find them to be incredibly boring. And I'm like, just even the NPC after you're done with the second boss is like, oh, I see that wasn't a challenge. I'm like, no, it was nothing. It was stupid. It was dumb. Like, And then the last boss was actually kind of cool. There were some cool things in there, but it just does not save the dungeon as a whole. Just that one boss. So like, I do not like going in there.
Well, I mean, there were some interesting mechanics, but it's a fucking stone block. Like,
yeah, I go in every time. I'm like, hey, I'm facing drywall.
Yeah. So, and I think seeing the pictures ahead of time, they really were like, hey, look, it's Alexandria, right? It's Alexandria Castle. Yeah, I know that's the FF9 stone block, but still. And yeah, that's like the last third of it is that castle. It looks great. I wish there was more creative use of the space and everything. It's obviously there's no point in talking anymore about the linearity of Final Fantasy dungeons. I just don't think that's going to change at this point, right? Pull, boss, pull, boss, pull, boss, which later becomes pull, boss, unless they put a arbitrary gate somewhere in there. And yeah, this is very much that. But we've had past patches, like the 7.1 dungeon, narratively was pretty cool, and visually was very cool. And there were a couple neat mechanics in there. But yeah, this was the first dungeon. I've told you on this show before, Flynn, that usually for the story dungeons the first time I'll trust up. And then just random. This one I just randomly queued. I wasn't even paying attention. I was just like, sure, queue. And we one-shotted it. Like, total group of strangers. Like, and yeah, some of there's stuff's overgeared. I get it. But there was nothing even remotely dangerous about it. Narratively, it was boring to me. We have had this X-person creating tests for us story beat multiple times now. And that's all the story beat through the dungeon was. X random baddie is creating things to test us and to get readings of us. And this is another one of those. The thing that saves it, at least for me, and we'll talk about this more after we get Flynn's take on the dungeon, is that it leads right into a very, very good trial. It leads right into a very good trial. But Flynn, we'll let you talk about your thoughts on the dungeon first.
My entire time through the dungeon the first time was like, okay, you wish you were Omega. You wish. It's like, I'm doing this calculations there. Omega his entire species can process thoughts faster than you're talking right now. And if we can overcome that, you were nothing.
Yeah. We've saved the damn world in space. Get over it. Like,
and if we are literally able to fight a sentient robot that can create any sort of simulacrum to throw at us, and we can overcome this guy going, well, I'll just bring a general back from years ago. I was like, yeah, cool. Thumbs up.
The trial, fantastic music. Music.
Oh, the music.
I still need to get that from the trial.
Fantastic visuals. And if you don't know, we're talking about the Totally Not Beatrix trial. The totally 100% absolutely not Beatrix trial. Neat mechanics. Some challenge there. You can start to see where the more difficult versions of this are going to be a little bit of a mess if you haven't kind of figured that one out yet. And Tark will let you speak to that portion. But yeah, I absolutely loved the trial. It was easily, without a doubt, my favorite thing about 7.2. I was just kind of lukewarm to really didn't like the story. The dungeon, like, I don't know how you can fail to meet my expectations on PvE dungeons, but this absolutely did it. But the trial, and we'll get to these in a second, the raid, those are some great fights. Like, they are all really well done. But narratively and music-wise and presentationally wise, the trial nailed it for me, Tark.
150%, dude. That trial was so good that I put out to my FC mates is like, hey, everybody wants to get this done. Just I will go back in just for the experience of the music. It's so much fun. It was absolutely great. The EX version, probably the hardest trial of the expansion so far, and it's perfect. There's a little bit of visual clutter with brown floors and red rose markings on brown floors with AoE markers, so it can be a little bit distracting, but so freaking good. Anybody that wants to get that done, normal EX, just sign me up. I'm there with you. I'll do that over and over and over again.
Flynn, you feeling just as good about it?
Yeah, I love how they try to experiment with this. Like the fact that in the extreme there's a shade marker that you have to expand the arena so you can actually shade out. It's like such a cool little gimmick. And then it makes me think of the dungeon. It's like, so disappointed.
The fact that the there's an effect on the ground that spreads and shares the damage around to solve one mechanic is just like, wow, that is amazing use of your arena floor. That's awesome.
And it's beautiful. I will say there is that one moment in the story. So if I'm going to bash it, I got to give it some kudos here too. When after the trial, the whole cutscene plays out, they pick up the tiara and they're on their way out and it's quiet. And Sphene looks back at the fallen knight. That is the cinematography, the music, the kind of, tear-shedding moment there. That was very well done. And I guess I should mention this too, since I'm mentioning cinematics. The other really, really nice part for me, as far as the MSQ goes, is at the end, in the last quest, the Seekers of Eternity quest, when all hell is breaking loose in Solution 9, and they start using stinger transitions to go to different portions and different characters in Solution 9 who are fighting different things and experiencing different things. Instead of just like fade to black and then come up somewhere else, they start using these sliding stinger transitions. So it feels like you're watching one long video instead of a couple cinematic sequences that they put together. That was a very nice presentationally, and they don't do that nearly often enough. But it keeps you engaged with that, and that was very well done too. Speaking of big fights, let's go straight to the raids and finish up here, Tark. What'd you think of you getting your championship belts?
Yep. We're going down to the cruiserweight. No, wait, that's up in cruiserweight. I'm so confused about their nomenclature. Anyways, probably the best normal raids
They were really
put
good
out in a long time. It might be the best ever. I'd have to really sit down and think about it, but they were fantastic.
You're talking about as far as a 4-fight sequence, not like the raid from beginning to end, but the whole tier. Okay.
Yeah, the whole tier. Just music, variety in presentation, variety in mechanics and layering of those mechanics. And even my group was like, we were ranking music. We're like, 3, 1, 2, 4, but they're all bangers. Like,
yeah,
we're ranking the fights 4, 1, 3, 2, but they're all amazing. Like, there's no bad fight in this entire tier. And while I've only done one of the Savages so far, we'll go into 6 tonight. That is just amazing too. And it's who doesn't love disco?
Yeah, I'm really glad they started with that one, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
Newest Girl, Newest Girl and I disagreed on the MSQ in a pretty big way, but we are exactly aligned on the raid series. Newest Girl says, I'm torn on the raid series overall. The theming does nothing for me, but the fights are really good. We are exactly aligned. I am kind of just like, I really don't care about this storyline. Like, it's kind of neat that these people were promised this great life, and it turns out that they're, just basically having their life sucked out of them at the end of their days, and we're going to go stop it. Okay, great. Yeah, we're going to be the good guy again and save some people and stop the corruption and the bad. Great. We've been here before. This is just a slightly different way of telling it. So, and like the whole fighting for entertainment thing, right? Like, we've kind of done that before too. So it was like the theming doesn't really offer anything new, but it does give them the ability to be outlandish with the characters, right? Like
Big
when we
time.
fought Omega, a lot of the negative feedback on that was, oh, well, this just gives them a reason to tie in any Final Fantasy character they want to tie in and make them as a fight in Final Fantasy XIV. Where this theming is so bizarre, so outlandish. The characters are basically pro wrestlers.
It
But
literally is pro wrestling.
right,
That's how I put it in my head. And I like pro wrestling to a degree. This is just over the top pro wrestling.
But they've also made them totally buyable in the Solution 9 world. Like when you compare their costumes and the way they act to the way we've interacted with regular NPCs and stuff, like I totally buy it. I just don't care. But the fights themselves, Flynn, are so good. And I'm glad they started with the Disco one that we had gotten teased in the live letter. Because that just like really set the tone for all four. And I did love, it was kind of cheesy, but I did love how like almost every mechanic there made you feel like you were doing a dance move. Like he was, he was telling you, go to the right, go to the left, pointing, and you're, I don't know. It felt a little cheesy, but I absolutely had a shit-eating grin on my face as I was performing the entire fight.
Yeah, the normal modes have been fantastic. My raid group, we're in M5. We're stuck on Funky Floor due to just arguing with each other, trying to work out strategies, and none of us been on each other's page. But, God, I can't wait for M12 to be us facing Vince McMahon, to use WWE term. It's just like, yeah, this is us just doing some outlandish WWE storyline at this point. I'm all for it. Because it is just, right, this is just going to be Hildebrand silliness in a more serious tone. And I'm excited.
That's a fantastic way to put it, yeah.
Yeah, on the third fight, a couple of my FC buddies, they was in that duty for an hour on day one. Having a fight that actually stops you for a bit in normal mode is kind of rare these days, and that is just fun. Where my group, it was on that, so it's like, okay, right, if it does this and does this, doing like mini strat working just for a normal mode rather than just plowing through like the bloody dungeon.
Yeah. It is, I don't care about the story, but the presentation, it fits the theming enough of Solution 9, but still allows them to be silly and outlandish without it either A, feeling like it doesn't belong in the location that they've put it, or B, being relegated to Hildebrand, right? Because that's kind of like their dumping ground for their silly ideas. Is we can be silly when it comes to Hildebrand, but we kind of have to be semi-serious on this other stuff. Yeah. So I do like it. Tark, taking into account story, dungeon, trial, raid, all the multiple difficulty versions, if you want to, rate it 1 through 10.
Oh, I guess because I value the repeatable content the most.
Yeah, and you can't take into account what's coming in 2.1 or 2.5.
I'm not.
That's not here yet.
Just what we got now. I guess I'll have to put it at 8.5.
Wow.
Because I am still doing the normal modes. The trial is just amazing. It would be a 9.5 if the dungeon just wasn't just so horrible, and I have to do a 50-50 coin flip to see if I get an expert. So,
wow.
Yeah, 8.5.
Flynn, 8.5 from Tark. What do you got, Flynn?
I'm at a 7. The story's getting to the point of, okay, I want to see what's next. The repeatable content is fantastic, but still feels very much we're in the throes of UGP throwing stuff at the wall, see what sticks. And we can definitely see that part of, okay, some bits are sticking, he's still throwing more at us. So what's next?
Wow. I'm going to put it at like a 5.5 or a 6. Like, I think the most I can give it is a 6. The trial really pulled that up. Otherwise, this patch, until I got to the trial, this patch was in danger as far as I was concerned, as far as like giving it a score on this show. Because as I'm playing it, like I'm taking notes for the show and stuff like that. And I'm just like, God, there's like nothing to take notes on here. Like just very little. When we got to the trial, I got boosted up. I didn't. I did the all but the Seekers of Eternity quest before I started messing with the raid, and then came and just polished the quests are boring, right? Like it's just literally. I think it's only the last one that requires you to do anything besides talk to somebody, if I remember right. And that last one is just beat up 3 guys in a circle.
Regarding your quest in the MSQ, were any of you dreading a tour of the entire Solution 9 with Sphene when she was like, "Yeah, I want to see the place"? I'm like, "Oh my god, please do not have us go spot to spot to spot to spot again." So
yeah. Oh, I guess technically that there is that one quest where it's the telescope mechanic, right? Where you just click, you're looking.
It was condensed tour. Yeah.
Yeah. But they went ahead and threw the tour or the escort into the Hatching Tide event, which we'll get to in a second.
Oh.
So, yeah, if you haven't done it yet, there's one of those in there. So yeah, I got to give it a 5.5 to a 6. The MSQ just didn't do it for me yet. The dungeon, which is one of my favorite pieces of MMO content, right, is dungeons and raids and stuff. The dungeon was just bad, I thought. Like, this might have been my least favorite dungeon in a very, very long time. The trial started to redeem things. The raid started to redeem things. And if I was giving it a score for just music, it'd be a 10. But yeah, I think I'm gonna stick it like a 6. Yeah. Thank God for what's 2.1 and 2.5 are bringing, because God, if they weren't, this would be a long wait for 7.3, that's for sure.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah.
Moving on, some other Final Fantasy XIV news. Flynn, Team Lucrezia, huh? Lucrezia.
Yeah, they are world first since the final coil of Bahamut. 10 years in the making for them to come back and take the win. And I was saying this to Talk last week while we were having the technical difficulties. Their 9th man setup was insane. This guy had 4 different monitors. He had a little tablet with waymarks and everything. He had a whiteboard on the side. It was the craziest setup. And the fact that this 9th man was streaming his own setup was even more bonkers. It was a crazy, crazy race. And yeah. Well done, Lucrezia.
Yeah, congrats. And I guess we'll see them in 10 more years, right?
Yeah.
They just kind of keep anniversary knocking them down here. 7.2 did attempt to fix some of the Stalker add-on issues, exposing portions of your player ID in the background and allowing you to use add-ons to track all characters on a particular account. That lasted for a couple of days, literally. Just like it was immediately started getting tested and banged upon. Not Night on Twitter, at Not Night. I'm sorry, in Blue Sky, at Not Night, NOTNITE, put up a whole thing for you if you want to read this. But the short version is update after a lot of testing.
I'm more than relaxing MS.
Ooh, that scared the shit out of me. An ad just started playing. Oh, I'm not okay. After a lot of testing, I think I shit myself. After a lot of testing, I didn't really poop. And a group chat full of my smartest Final Fantasy XIV friends, we have figured out the obfuscation is vulnerable because the IDs are still there. Square was just trying to obfuscate them. And that the account IDs are actually reversible. Square Enix needs to stop sending the account ID entirely to clients and just set a hidden flag or something. So, yeah. Fixed, but not fixed.
Fixed, but not fixed.
Yeah. All right, my heart.
Come on, Squid.
Your heart palpitations good?
Yeah, my heart has come back down. Fucking just ads started playing somewhere on the page I was looking at for the quote. Man, scared the hell out of me. By the way, Hatching Tide has started. Go do something and get a parasol. Yes, there is a quest where you have to escort somebody. Can we please stop using that? Can we please stop using that mechanic?
I mean, it was novel, and then it just became tedious. And yeah,
I don't mind when they use it for a purpose, but more often than not lately, it just feels like they want to use it. And so could somebody come up with a dialogue box for what this character would say at some point on this journey? Like it's almost just using it because they have it and they want to use it. Yeah, I don't know.
I feel like
it's easy. It's 2 quests. It'll take a couple minutes.
I feel like they want it to be an experience where, like, hey, you're walking around with your cohorts here, and they're talking to you as you're walking.
Yeah,
but it's just a quest spot that's optional. So they're missing the mark on it. They need to rethink it and try something different. I don't know.
Yeah, it'll take you 5 minutes, maybe 8 if you watch the cutscenes.
Yeah, it's a umbrella. It's just like, yeah, if I can be bothered, if I'm online to do it, I'll do it. Otherwise, it's like,
Yeah. No minion in a hatching tide. No minion on the raid series. You get a pair of glasses in the raid series. I'm a little upset.
I will
We
say,
got
seeing
3 or
Eden
4 new
Papalimo,
minions this patch. Like, what the hell? Come on.
yeah,
This site
more
that I
minions.
just opened up for our next story, I went ahead and made sure I have the tab muted just in case.
Straight away.
Just in case.
Just so you don't have
Soken
a heart attack on there.
did an interview where he did talk about the Final Fantasy game he would like to see represented in 14 more. Obviously, Dawntrail, full of FF9 references. We'll talk more about that in a moment. But talking to PC Games, and Soken said he would actually like to see more FF8 represented in Final Fantasy 14. And, like, that doesn't surprise me, right? Like, Eyes on Me, and what do we got there? Oh, that's your boy. That's your boy.
I mean,
Yeah,
was
one
it
of the
Gunbreaker?
original Bandai releases of it.
Yeah, I mean, we do
Entire
have
Eden
we
raid
do have
series? I mean,
Gunbreaker.
come
Yeah,
Come on.
I know. We do have
Yeah.
some in there, but he wants more. And he thinks Ultimecia in particular could be a decent main star villain for a story arc.
Yeah, we have been dealing with time quite a bit over the last couple of expansions.
This is true.
An Ultimecia-esque villain could be really interesting because we have opened the gates for that with our side stories of how Sid and the team sent the Crystal Tower back in time and whatnot.
Yep.
Yeah, but now we have a time paradox because now we're not going to send it back. So what the hell?
So we need Dr. Odin to turn up and get us some time compression.
In other Square Enix news, good lord, Final Fantasy IX. Like, good lord. Here, wait, speaking of FF8, by the way, if you think about this, Final Fantasy VII had the 25th anniversary splash site and all kinds of events and stuff. Final Fantasy IX now has its own 25th anniversary splash site and books and merch and stuff, which we're going to talk about some of it right now here. Final Fantasy VIII did not get any of that.
I know. When I
was like,
realized this, I did verbally swear out loud as I, I won't elaborate, but it was long enough. It was a mini rant to myself. I was like, where is it?
Yep, did not get this treatment. If you don't know by now, there is a site up, jp.finalfantasy.com/FFIX25TH, FF9 25th. Whole splash site special. There's going to be all kinds of stuff coming out over the next couple of weeks here, but we've got products listed on there, a ton of plushies. There's a promotion with an eyeglass company, Zoff, in Japan. Coming up. Some of the details aren't there yet, but it's an entire anniversary website. Damn, do some of these things look cute. Like, here's kind of the key art. Man, is that is gorgeous. I love that.
Maybe, all culminates in a remake or a big remaster, announcement sometime soon.
Something NVIDIA might have leaked a few years ago.
Yeah. God, that was ages ago, wasn't it? That was like 5+ years ago.
Well, the game has sold just shy of 9 million copies. The original. 8.9 million, according to the anniversary page here. And we've seen about 3 million of those in the like kind of recent Nintendo Switch era, right? In the 6 years since it came out on Nintendo Switch and a few other versions, we've seen about 3 million sold in just that period. And we haven't really had any new ports or anything to add on to that number, so it is still those versions that are selling just shy of 9 million. 9 million. And then, just a few days ago, this little image showed up on Square Enix's official Twitter page with the comment, "If you know, you know," and a crying emoji.
I feel sad that I don't know.
You don't know?
I'll get to it,
Go
but
ahead.
I don't know. I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know, but I'll get to it eventually. So I'll know.
Eventually.
Yeah.
Need to get
I'm on
more
Final
streams
Fantasy
in
two
time.
So
right
then
now, okay?
so you've never beaten 9?
No.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Okay. So then Flynn and I can't talk about this one. We just have to
No,
kind of
it's
leave it
fine.
at no. It is.
This is
I would-
ending related.
No, I would never spoil this one for you.
All right. All right.
It is very, very good and very touching. Yeah. It just, my memories will be part of the sky. If you know, you know. And if Square Enix doesn't announce a Final Fantasy IX remake at some point, and like all of this has just been trolling, I
Just
might,
teases.
yeah, I might like stop buying anything Square Enix related. Speaking of this, did you guys have check out the Switch 2 reveal at all? Do you have any thoughts
did.
on the system itself? I'll skip this part because I talked extensively about my pieces on the Switch 2. So on Gaming Gumbo, you can check that out. But Tark, what do you have?
Well, I'll go with price of the unit itself. I think the way it's priced and the pricing of games, like I think they really want you to buy the bundle. Like I feel $450 is actually a decent price. I was expecting 400 to 500, so 450 is okay. Okay, I can get behind that. The price of the games, at least for first party titles, $80, and that's digital. It might be $90 for physical, is what I kind of saw around. Absolutely insane. I know we just had that price hike to 70 across all the platforms, just maybe 4 or 5 years ago. So to bump that up again, and everyone's tightening their belt buckles and checking their wallets, like gaming is getting really expensive. And with Nintendo, I mean, historically, they don't bring their first party titles down in discount,
Right.
over the years. So like if it's $70-$80 now, it's going to be that in 5 years. So that's just mind-boggling. The whole idea of Switch 2 editions, if you buy the physical of the Switch 2 edition, you still have to go to their online and download the actual enhanced part. So what's the point of the Switch 2 edition other than the price being baked in? I don't understand it. That unnerves me.
Well,
And
that's
then-
why, because if you want to upgrade to the Switch 2 version, it's not free. It's $10 to $15
what I'm saying
for
is
the titles.
You're buying
Yeah.
the Switch 2 version, right? You're buying the Switch 2 version, the physical Switch 2 edition, but you still got to go online. So what's the point of?
Well, because there are games where the cartridges are just the game key. Like
That's the next part that just
Yeah.
like, no, this is not okay. That's not
Modern
okay.
games are doing that anyway. PlayStation
Yeah, and
Xbox will be
and
doing that.
Ubisoft is literally making the argument in court right now. As of this moment, their class action against them by players of the Crew, right? When Ubisoft all of a sudden just took the Crew away, and here's Crew 2 and Crew 2 Mode or whatever. And so they're getting sued, class action. Ubisoft is literally making the argument in court that I don't know why you thought you owned this and were going to own it forever when you bought it. Like, that's the argument they're making in court right now. that's the way these companies are viewing this.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
And I get that with online. I understand that to an extent online, but when it's a single player experience, like I want to own that. That's like your servers are down when Sony servers are
Not
down.
with this,
I still
bro.
was playing games.
When Switch 2 servers go down, what you have installed on your Switch 2, that's what you have left.
I know
Of that
and that's so
entire
scary.
library.
I don't like it. I don't like it.
Flynn, got any thoughts on the Switch 2?
Just from a console's perspective, it feels 4 years out of date. For itself, in its own market. Ignoring PlayStation, ignoring Xbox. When the Switch came out, it had no competitors. That's why it monopolized. But now you got a ROG, you got a Steam Deck, and everything else. It's like, you need something to compete with those now. And then you compete with Sony and Microsoft.
I don't know. Like, I think
you can get ROG Ally and pay
brand.
$0 for games.
No, and I get that.
And I can own that stuff.
But that's still PC. Like, that's still like a PC thing for me. Like, I think of that. I think as like an extension of PC gaming, where a Nintendo console, they're their own brand, they're their own setup. So like, I'm impressed with the specs that we've seen from the Switch 2, and their abilities and their little innovations. They're trying to do new things, the mouse controls and all that. They're similar, but they're still in different paths, in my opinion. So again, I'm fine.
They have to pay for a Discord button.
God, that thing is a joke.
On the Square Enix side of stuff, by the way, if you want my opinions on that, head on over to Gaming Gumbo from this past weekend. On the Square side of the Switch 2, though, the Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade is coming to Switch 2. And the sheer amount, by the way, these are the Garnet and Zidane figures. Oh my God, those are amazing.
And the plushies, look at them.
The plushies are cute too. And the necklace, I mean, like all the merch is pretty good.
Yeah.
It's all pretty good. And then it's not that necklace. I can't remember off the top of my head. I think it was like 250 or 240 USD, something like that. When I did the conversions, the stand-up figurines of the of Zidane and Garnet. They are about $50. $50 each. And then the plushies are like 35-ish, something like that. That could change, right? Conversion rates are fun. But when this trailer aired, and I'm actually going to kill this B-roll just to restart it. Restart playback. Because the beginning of this fooled a lot of people. Fooled an awful lot of people into thinking that they were about to announce the Final Fantasy IX remake. Because apparently some people have not played Bravely Default all the way.
Oh, you heard of it, apparently.
Yeah, or heard of it. I'm trying to get this. There we go. Trying to get the B-roll to queue up.
I mean, they've heard about its most recent incarnations, probably. Octopath Traveler 2.
Oh, this is the trailer. This wasn't the way they... So there's a little, like, a couple people getting somebody ready and putting a dress on them, and it does very much look like Garnet, if you have never played Bravely Default, but yeah. That's coming. And then we've got news on the Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD 2D remake for Switch. That is up for pre-order as well.
Still no date, though.
What's that?
Still no date, though.
Yeah, right now it's just kind of got that placeholder December 31st stuff as far as getting your physical stuff. Remember, by the way, totally not Square Enix related, but a little bit of like a week or so from now, Lunar HD remake collection.
Oh God, hell yeah,
hell yeah, all about it.
Now we just need a Lufia collection, huh?
Yeah, or Arc the Lad. That was the other one Working
There you
Designs did a version of when after they did Lunar, Silver Star Story, and Eternal Blue. They did the Arc the Lad collection. Hey, take a look at this. before we finish up today, we got our boy right there. This is the kind of like Advent Children High School.
Yeah.
This is Rival Fantasy Ever Crisis Academy 7. And this was an April Fool's Day gag by Square Enix, obviously the team behind Ever Crisis, putting these up. This prank images imagines the heroes of Final Fantasy VII world as students at Midgard 7th High School, where the villains all attend Shinra Private Academy. There is an official website with some fun stuff on it and some profiles and relationship stuff if you like that. But if you want to take a look at that. And this one's even better, I think, with Barrett in the background.
Like, hey.
Pretty good April Fool's Day joke, I think. But led to an awful lot of people saying, now you have to make this. Like,
you need to give me an anime. You need to give me a side game.
I'm still waiting for Final Fantasy XIV Tekken.
I mean, this is
a
going to be
lot
Final
of people.
Fantasy VII Persona.
Yeah, a lot of people were like, you need to now make this. Flynn, before we go over to Love It or Leave It, you had one more thing you wanted to throw in here. What's up?
Yep. So the BAFTA awards were over the last week here in the UK, and Yoko Shimomura has earned
by the way,
BAFTA fellowship.
if you're not into entertainment, this is basically the British Academy Awards. Okay, like it's the British Academy Film Awards. The television arts, that's the TA. Took me a minute, sorry. British Academy of Films and Television Arts, BAFTAs. It's their Oscars. Yeah. Go ahead, sorry. Just in case people didn't know.
The fellowship award is given to people who are outstanding in the field. So Anthony Hopkins, Stanley Kubrick, Elizabeth Taylor, and Yoko Shimomura has been put in that category for their work in music for video games.
Congratulations. Let's head over and do Love It or Leave It. Love It or Leave It is the way we end every episode of the Relic Grind here. It's where I'm going to give you something Square Enix related. Could be something they've done in a game, something they said, or something that's just tangentially related to them. And you tell me whether you love it, want more of it, or leave it, never to be seen again. Now, I had kind of stronger opinions on 7.2, and normally I give the Love It or Leave It here to the patch as we're doing our review show. But I think all three of us made it very, very apparent. Flynn would love it, I would leave it, and Tark would, not being allowed to fence sit, have to think for a moment about where he dumped it. But instead, I'm going to give you this one since our opinions were pretty clear. Final Fantasy VII High School, as a show, a game, whatever, an anime, whatever media you want to put it in, Tark, love it or leave it?
Oh, I'm going to love it. I would need an anime show, and I'd be all about it. But I think that would fit better in a Persona style. Like, you know, you're doing the day-to-day school stuff, but then you get into hijinks on your days off or after you're done with school. Like, that would just be awesome. Yes.
Flynn?
Love it. Would love it as a show. Just the art of cloud reminds me of delinquent Ichigo from Bleach. I'm like, yeah, I'm there.
I'm going to give it a love it, too. It was a great April Fool's joke, and as soon as I started seeing people like, you need to make this now, I don't know what I'd prefer, whether it's like a Persona-esque game or just maybe a serialized or a limited-run show or something like that. I think there could be a lot of fun there. Newest girl in chat saying, love it. I spent a decade reading fanfic with that premise already. So there you go. That's going to do it for the show here today. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll be back next Thursday with another episode of the Relic Grind. Until then, Flynn, where can everybody find you?
You can find me on YouTube at Within Crisis Podcast, over on Twitch at Within Crisis, over on X at Within Crisis, and me personally, Flynn_Lawlight.
Tark.
Go sure to YouTube all at Tarkoth Gaming, playing Final Fantasy XIV most days of the week, and then Saturday nights here on Ready Check Radio as we go through Final Fantasy's history, and we are still on Final Fantasy II into Pandemonium, though, so we're almost done.
Should be a good stream this Saturday, FF2. I'm Mike Byrne. You can follow me right there at Magic Man 1, but more importantly, follow at RC Radio, RAIDEO, and you'll know every time we're going live with a podcast, hanging out playing video games, doing our Final Fantasy trading card game live locals on Monday, or streaming some local qualifiers for the 2025 competitive season. Stay safe. See you on the servers.